So it's really good to see you today and to talk to you briefly about this course that is coming up and commencing at the beginning of November. It is called Mindfulness Practice Applied, and it is an invitation and an opportunity at the same time, an invitation to wind down and to do this not on your own, but with other people as we're running or moving towards the end of the year. An opportunity to actually in that to slow down and to deliberately bring this focus on how to, in a very conscious and appropriate and intentional way, to sort of move and prepare for the end of 2022. There are many ways how we do this, and often, I don't know about you, but I often feel myself out of a sudden, oh, here it is kind of thing. So how about rather than doing this mindless, doing this more mindful and experimenting a little bit with slowing down in a very deliberate way, with putting time aside as often as possible over this course and also beyond to really resource yourself and prepare yourself for this final end of year kind of time. For some, it can be quite challenging in that regard that projects are coming to an end at work, deadlines have to be met, exams have to be done. So for uni students or for lecturers to do all the marking, but also in our private lives, that as we are moving toward the festive season, for many who celebrate Christmas in particular, they get really hooked up in buying presents and gifts and feeling very stressed and maybe also being annoyed by not doing this earlier and leaving this to the very last minute. And this is all part of life. This is just all part of life. And but it's also how we easily get snowed under. And in particular, at the end of the year, we all notice, and you might notice that, I notice that certainly, how we're running low on resources and energy. And yet, there are more days to come and more things to do. And sort of these two sort of experiences perhaps could be very opposite and just, through this sort of clash could just, cause more distress and again, take more energy away, that it's taking its toll maybe in our sleep, but also in our way to tolerate additional challenges that may present to us as life is presenting to us. So getting together over a period of 8 weeks is, maybe a really good way to deliberately slow down, to practice. For some of you, you might have done these courses in the past. Some others have done this more in their own kind of time, practicing mindfulness, listening to apps, watching videos, reading books and the whatnot. Or they and then joining some online mindfulness meditation sessions. Nevertheless, whether you are totally new to this practice or already experienced, I wonder whether we could just learn from each other in this space. So I want to provide this platform, and this is actually quite a course that I haven't done it that way before. So it will be a little bit of an experiment where, of course, I provide the structure. And every session we will have a particular theme. It is all about and around the foundations of mindfulness, but also the practice of the mindfulness attitudes that we also can integrate, of course, on a day-to-day basis as we are meeting the challenges that present to us. And also to practice itself together and a little bit longer than just 10 minutes. Really want to dive in a little bit more. And for everyone then also to find their own rhythm with this, and also experimenting with choice and decision making and getting a sense of being in charge as we are practicing, and if people are open to it, I also thought I allocate a little bit of time to sharing. And I don't want to have it too serious. Of course, it takes a particular commitment. It takes a wise effort. So you really have to think about why you want to come. And maybe you have lots of expectations, and maybe radically you can just be aware of the expectations, but not getting attached to them. So that creates perhaps a sense of openness. And as you're applying curiosity towards, you perhaps trust the path as it is unfolding. And it will certainly offer the opportunity to practice shifting away from reactivity to becoming a little bit more responsive. It also is an opportunity to expand the attention span. Again, it's all about this window of tolerance that seems to shrink as we're moving towards the end of the year because the resources going down. And how we treating those mental events that again occur nearly every minute, or that's what it sometimes feels like, even though they are there all the time. But sometimes we don't have an awareness, and sometimes we have too much awareness about or of them, and then we don't know what to do. So we really want to work with that. But as we are moving further down and towards the end of this year, you might also find yourself sometimes feeling a little bit lonely or disconnected or isolated. And, because this festive season that is ahead of us, for some, it brings back memories. For some others, it's challenges as they perhaps have to meet their families or whatever other activities they have to engage in. So all of this, and in the midst of everything, you might feel quite sort of burned out, but also, quite lonely. And in general, I don't know about you, whether you have noticed that, but I certainly noticed this and experienced this in my practice. There are many, many, many people who feel lonely. This is really becoming one of the, top 3 reasons for people's deteriorating mental health. And that is really, really, really sad. And I think having this group could also be an opportunity for you to just experience this connectedness. And even if you feel you don't want to say anything, but just being surrounded by like-minded people, by just showing up every week at the same time, Thursday, early evening at 6 p.m., and just doing this practice together and integrating it and experimenting with it and applying it. And if you like sharing or just listening, this, I hope, has a potential to make you feel being part of something. We often feel we don't belong. And I'm very passionate about sort of to create this community. And this is part of it, where we find our place and where we can link in, where we can connect, and where we feel safe, and where we can get a sense of comfort. And so this and so many other things we want to explore together. And the reason why I have actually brought down the cost of this course is to make it accessible and to make it inclusive, and also because this is something I haven't done this way yet. So that's also the other side of it. So there's not much material in between. It is very much the pure experience of the sessions and in between, but there won't be something that you need to read or follow up. Maybe I will provide you with a few practices that you can access, of course, but it's more this connecting with the inner wisdom, and understanding and learning a little more from the inside, and using those, gained wisdom to relate to whatever is perhaps presenting as something challenging. So that's perhaps it. If you follow the slide, the next slide will take you or advise you or help you to connect with how to register for the course. And also, as you're flicking through the slides, you will see, I also want to bring in some fun and some humor. So we don't want to be too dead serious. Again, this is not a uni assignment, and this is not something that you can fail or that you have to be 100% good at. We really want to have that freedom to hang out together and just see what happens, obviously. And if, over the course, maybe sort of from maybe a bit more restless at the beginning and a bit more energy or no energy. So it's about how can I activate a little bit more energy? How can I upregulate? And if there's too much energy, how can I downregulate again to come back into this window of tolerance where we become a little bit more equanimous and can just rebalance and rejuvenate in this particular way. I hope that you will gain great benefit from this course, and certainly I hope that you join us. So give yourself a nudge and be part of this. And if you think that there is someone that you think could benefit from it, maybe just share the link with them and let them watch this video, let them think about it. And if they would like to commit, then please invite them in. I think that is the more we have, the better. It can be a very intimate circle. Maybe we have only 3 or 4, maybe we have 10, but that's very ambitious to say. I'm very aware at the end of the year that people may sort of don't feel they want to connect or engage with something in that particular way. But I'll leave this up to you. I trust you can make that decision yourself, and also your friends or whoever is interested or curious about it. If you're really, really unsure, or if you have another question, then please email me, regina@mindfulness2be.com. And don't hesitate, there's no stupid questions, so ask me everything and I will make and do the best to answer. Otherwise, I perhaps see you live on the 3rd of November, Thursday afternoon at 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. to 7:30. Actually, really depends on the size of the group. So, but we will be together with at least for 60 minutes. Thank you so very much, and I wish you all the best. And even if you're not tuning in, maybe we meet in a different sort of way on another platform or next year in one of my courses. Please don't feel obliged to sign up. This is really something you do for yourself. Take good care and goodbye for now.